a balanced street-level and multiversal story. Unlike the big, cosmic stories of recent MCU films, Brand New Day reportedly brings Spider-Man back to the street-level world of New York City. This is the version of Peter Parker many fans love, grounded, struggling, and dealing with real-life problems. After everyone forgets him at the end of No Way Home, Peter has to rebuild his life from scratch. He has no mentors, no fancy tech, and no Avengers to call for help. The leaks describe this film as a return to the lonely neighborhood Spider-Man, the one who swings across rooftops, stops small crimes, and relies on his own skills to get by. This simple setting creates the perfect space for the return of John Bernthal's Punisher. Frank Castle acts as a dark mirror to Peter. Both of them operate in the shadows of New York, but they handle pain very differently. Peter still tries to hold on to hope, while Frank turns his anger into violence. From the moment they meet, the tension is obvious. Peter refuses to kill, and Frank sees that as a weakness. Their conflict becomes more than physical. It's a clash of beliefs happening in alleys, rooftops, and hidden corners of the city. Both men are damaged in their own ways. Peter has lost his entire identity, and Frank has lost everything he cares about. Their uneasy partnership becomes a major emotional part of the film. Another surprising rumor is the appearance of Mark Ruffalo's Bruce Banner, Hulk, but not in his usual powerful form. Instead, he may show up injured, exhausted, or running from something connected to the multiverse, breaking apart. His role isn't to make the story bigger, but to show that even the strongest heroes are struggling. If Hulk is hurt and hiding, then the world is clearly falling apart in ways no one fully understands. All these elements, Peter being unknown, Punisher's harsh methods, and Hulk's weakened state, create a tone that feels both small and huge at the same time. We spend most of the story in tight city spaces like apartments, subway tunnels, and rooftops, but the thread of the multiverse hangs over everything. Every fight and every conversation feels connected to something much bigger. This makes Brand New Day a story that blends street-level realism with the early signs of a cosmic disaster, making it grounded and human while still tied to the future of the MCU. Multiple Spider people enter the story. Although Brand New Day focuses mainly on street-level storytelling, leaks suggest the film won't ignore the multiverse issues left behind after No Way Home.
You're Peter.
Yeah, Peter Parker.
Instead of turning the movie into a full Spider-Verse adventure, it reportedly uses small, brief appearances from other Spider-Man variants. These are not big crossover scenes, more like quick flashes, glitches, or warnings that show Peter's world is still unstable. The most talked about addition is Miles Morales, but not as Spider-Man yet. The leaks suggest we might see Miles simply as a regular kid in New York, maybe someone Peter meets without realizing how important he will become. This keeps the door open for Miles in the future without rushing his hero story. Other Spider variants appear in even smaller ways through strange distortions, flickering shadows, or momentary rifts in reality that only Peter seems aware of. These aren't meant as fan service cameos,
Let me guess. He died?
but as signs that the multiverse is still broken. Their quick appearances hint that their own worlds are being affected too. Some leaks describe Peter seeing a blurry outline of another Spider-Man while swinging, only for it to vanish like static. In another moment, a variant tries to send a warning before the universe snaps back. These scenes create a feeling that New York is sitting on top of a multiversal fault line. What makes this approach effective is that it never takes over the main story. The multiverse stays in the background, acting more like a quiet tension running underneath the film. It hints at bigger problems coming in Secret Wars, while still keeping the story focused on Peter's personal struggles. Even with glimpses of countless other Spider-Men, Peter still feels completely alone. In the end, Brand New Day seems to treat the multiverse not as a fun playground, but as a serious consequence, showing that every choice, every mistake, and every forgotten memory continues to affect Peter's world in ways he can't fully control. A rogues gallery explosion. A renewed street-level focus means Peter is no longer fighting gods or giant cosmic threats. He's back dealing with the day-to-day dangers of New York City. Organized crime, gang conflicts, and shifting power struggles define the challenges he now faces. Because Peter is living anonymously and has no fancy tech or support, these villains feel more threatening than ever. Brand New Day reportedly leans into this gritty criminal world, showing Peter relying on his instincts and experience rather than high-tech gadgets. Scorpion, Mac Gargan. Mac Gargan is one of the most anticipated returning villains. He finally becomes the full Scorpion, with a rough, industrial-looking suit made from black market parts. Gargan blames Spider-Man for ruining his life twice, once when he was arrested, and again when Kingpin's crew abandoned him. This version of Scorpion isn't comedic or silly, he's determined, angry, and dangerous. Tombstone. Tombstone represents the opposite kind of threat. He's calm, strategic, and deeply connected to New York's criminal networks. He quietly controls multiple gangs, protection rackets, and neighborhoods like Harlem. He doesn't need to fight to be intimidating. His influence alone shapes the city's underground world. Peter unintentionally disrupts Tombstone's plans just by trying to stop crime. Boomerang. Boomerang brings comedic chaos to the film. He's not a major villain, but a troublemaker who constantly causes problems. He switches sides, runs away from fights, and adds humor to intense scenes. Peter is able to handle him easily, showing how much more skilled and confident he's become since No Way Home. The Bar with No Name. Leaks also mention the Bar with No Name, a secret hangout for minor villains who want to relax without being attacked. It's filled with jokes, arguments, and low-stakes chaos. This location adds personality to the film, showing the messy and surprisingly social side of New York's villain community. The opening fight montage. Early leaks say the movie opens with a fast-paced montage similar to the one in Fantastic Four: First Steps. In it, Peter stops several street-level crimes in a row: robberies, gang fights, chases, and random troublemakers. Each scene highlights a different ability or tactic. This sequence is meant to show how capable Peter is without any advanced tech, how confident he is in the suit he built himself, how smart and careful his fighting style has become, how violent New York has become as the multiverse grows unstable. By the end of the montage, it's clear that Peter may be broke, alone, and forgotten, but he has grown into the most skilled and confident version of Spider-Man we've seen so far. Placement in the MCU timeline. Brand New Day reportedly takes place about a year before Avengers Doomsday, putting it in a very important spot in the MCU timeline. It's far enough away to set up new ideas, but close enough that the multiverse cracks are becoming impossible to ignore. Instead of being a separate Spider-Man story, leaks suggest this film acts as a bridge between street-level problems and the massive cosmic crisis coming in Doomsday. The unstable multiverse fallout from Multiverse of Madness. After Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness,
everyone in the world is going to forget that you're Spider-Man, except your girlfriend.
Thank you so much.
the walls between universes never fully healed. Strange may have stopped the immediate threat, but the damage worked its way into the world. Brand New Day shows this without relying on Doctor Strange to explain it. Peter starts noticing strange, unsettling signs across New York's shadows, behaving oddly, reflections showing different versions of people, and small glimpses of other realities bleeding through for seconds before disappearing. These glitches aren't huge portals or dramatic events. They're small, constant reminders that something is seriously wrong. Peter becomes one of the first heroes to feel the multiverse breaking down in everyday life. It mirrors his own emotional state, forgotten, fractured, and trying to hold himself together. Growing unease among Earth's heroes. Bruce Banner's rumored appearance injured, confused, and searching for answers represents how worried Earth's heroes have become. Incursions are no longer distant threats. They're happening quietly around the world. Heroes like Banner, Wong, and even Daredevil are said to be keeping an eye on strange dimensional activity, but no one can fully understand what's causing it. Peter ends up seeing more of these anomalies than most, simply because New York becomes the center of the problem. New York becomes a dimensional hotspot. The leaks highlight that New York isn't just Peter's home, it's turning into the fault line between unstable universes. The city has always attracted magical and scientific chaos, but now it's becoming something more dangerous, a place where universes occasionally overlap. These disturbances appear as glitch-like distortions in alleyways, murals shifting into different artwork, strangers speaking languages from alternate worlds, villains flickering into existence, then vanishing instantly. Peter doesn't know whether these events are warnings or accidents, but they grow more frequent as the story goes on, hinting at the major incursion that will lead into Avengers Doomsday, a crucial bridge film, not a side mission. Because of all this, Brand New Day is not just another Spider-Man chapter. It becomes a key part of the MCU's next phase. Much like Captain America, the Winter Soldier changed everything in Phase 2. The film reportedly sets up the rising danger of multiversal instability, shows Peter as one of the first heroes to witness the cracks firsthand, connects street-level problems to cosmic consequences, prepares Peter for a major role in Doomsday, even though no one remembers him, reveals how close ordinary people are to disaster without realizing it. By the end, Peter isn't just a neighborhood hero anymore. He's caught between two collapsing worlds, the broken streets of New York and the breaking multiverse above it. This combination is what makes Brand New Day essential. It ties Peter's personal struggles to the huge events that will soon reshape the MCU. The black suit, Symbiote, makes its debut. One of the biggest leaks confirms that Spider-Man's black suit appears in Brand New Day, but not in the usual way fans expect. Instead of the symbiote randomly attaching to Peter, the film reportedly links it to the multiverse breaking apart. The symbiote is described as a multiversal leftover, a living piece shaken loose during the events of No Way Home, now drifting through a universe that's slowly falling apart and looking for stability. This version of the symbiote isn't just a parasite. It reacts to emotions and is drawn to Peter because he feels lost and alone. With no one remembering him, Peter becomes the ideal host, cut off from friends, grieving, and struggling without support. The symbiote senses that emptiness and slips into it. In the story, the black suit becomes the emotional core of the film. It brings out Peter's buried anger not just from Aunt May's death, but from losing MJ, Ned, and the life he once had. The suit makes him fight harder, faster, and with colder precision. He starts winning battles easily, and people notice the change. The Punisher is reportedly the first to realize something is wrong, not because Peter is losing control, but because he seems to enjoy the new power. The symbiote raises the film's central question: who is Peter Parker when no one knows he exists? Without people to ground him, without love or accountability, power becomes tempting. The black suit doesn't make Peter evil, it pushes him toward a darker version of himself, one who feels unstoppable and justified in everything he does. So instead of being just a cool suit or a fan service moment, the black suit represents Peter's rebirth, temptation, trauma, and identity crisis, making it one of the most important themes in Brand New Day. Brand New Day, a title loaded with meaning. The title Brand New Day directly connects to the famous comic storyline, which acted as a complete reset for Peter Parker after some of the hardest moments in his life. In the MCU, leaks suggest the title carries a very similar meaning. It reflects Peter's total anonymity after No Way Home, where everyone he loves forgets him. With no allies, no support system, and no connections left, Peter has to rebuild his life from scratch. This pushes him back to the basics of being Spider-Man, surviving on his own, relying only on his instincts, and rediscovering what truly defines him. The title also hints at a soft reboot for the character following Secret Wars. Instead of erasing the past, Marvel can refresh Spider-Man's direction while keeping everything that happened before as part of his history. It allows Peter to grow in a new direction without being overshadowed by giant Avengers-level storylines or high-tech support that once surrounded him. In essence, Brand New Day signals a fresh dawn for Peter Parker, a chance to start over while still carrying the lessons and scars of his past. It marks the return of Spider-Man as a grounded, relatable hero, an ordinary young man dealing with extraordinary responsibility, now more alone and more determined than ever. The unique suit design Edo Japan influence. One of the most surprising leaks involves Peter's new suit, which is said to take inspiration from Edo period Japanese armor. Instead of the sleek Stark tech or smooth nanotech designs from earlier films, this suit uses layered panels similar to traditional lamellar plates, giving it a handmade, tactical look. Leakers mention that the suit includes visible hand-stitched repairs, the kind of quick fixes Peter would make alone in a small apartment, showing how resourceful he has become and how isolated he now is. The material is described as having a more organic, silk-like texture, echoing patterns found in historical Japanese textiles, while still working as strong, flexible superhero gear. Early prop descriptions even show intentional battle damage, worn edges, and patchwork repairs that reflect Peter's constant struggles and determination to keep going. This design signals a major shift for the character. Peter is no longer the tech-powered hero supported by billionaires. He's rebuilding his identity piece by piece, literally sewing his life back together. The suit becomes a symbol of who he is now: resilient, self-made, inspired by different cultures, and marked by every challenge he has survived. Altogether, the leaks paint Brand New Day as a grounded yet multiverse-conscious Spider-Man story that rebuilds Peter Parker from the ground up. It merges street-level tension, symbiote drama, new villains, legacy cameos, and emotional reinvention into what could be the MCU's most character-driven Spider-Man film yet.